Welcome to Far From Eden. I have a confession. I cheated. Well, I'm cheating right now with you guys. I have not seen Homath's last two videos that are around 13 or 14 minutes long, around that. And he released his latest with the thumbnail just says, deserve. And I was like, oh boy, I have got to know what does he say about that, because goodness gracious, that is a huge problem, particularly with women, about what we think we deserve. You know, over 6 feet, 6 figures, etc., etc. And it's not based on anything. It doesn't seem to be based on anything that we bring to the table. It doesn't seem to be based on what we will contribute to the relationship, what our innate value is. It appears to be completely disconnected. And that's how you get, the women who are 4s thinking that a man who's a 9 is, appropriate for her to think that that's who she should end up with, which is just insane. It's just delusional. That's all I keep thinking, like, delusional. The level of delusion is astounding. So we're going to see what he has to say. I don't know about you guys, but I have learned so much from, Mr. Homath guy. He, especially his categories of sweeper, sleeper, and keeper. That, just the way men categorize women and the way women look at it and the way the men, like it's just very, very good. So I did react / give commentary on his levels, which I'm very grateful for you guys. That's one of my most successful videos. So I'm glad I could add something to it that was helpful for you guys. So without further ado, let's get going. This and learn. I get really into it and then back up. Pretty soon I'm gonna be like this. Okay. Let's see. Deserve, he says, deserve, maybe deserve maxing isn't the best strategy right now. I don't think it ever is. By the way, a link to this video, his video, will be in the description.
Oh, hello, babies. We've solved dating for you.
Let me cut to the chase. When she says she solved dating, what she means is that she appeased her own ego and that of the modern woman in general. She made herself feel better about her dating experiences by constructing a graph of men according to their objective qualities rather than their subjective ones like mine, and then simply declaring that all women deserve the good kind of man and not the kinds of men with flaws because women have no flaws, I guess.
Right? Yes, and women, I can confirm that women do think that they all deserve this, this like amazing man. They literally, I'm not overusing that word, I'm saying it, I mean it. They all literally think that they deserve that guy. And here's how they justify it. Like, because men are like doing calculations like, well, that's not possible because there's a finite amount of those guys. So how can all women deserve those guys when there's only a small amount of those guys? Well, this is how. In their minds, they rationalize it that, well, the one that I think is a 10, this girl over here is not going to think is a 10. She's going to think the guy I think is only a 2 is a 10. So in that way, they're out there. And the rest of us who can use logic and rational thinking go, yeah, but there's a general consensus that certain types of men are all considered to be 8s, 9s, and 10s. You all agree. You're all after the same guys, and that's what they don't understand. They think there's someone for everyone and there's plenty of fish in the sea and I'll find the one that's meant for me. And the one that's meant for me is not the same thing. That voice is getting on my nerves. I'm so sorry. And the one that's meant for me isn't meant for this chick over here. Oh, yeah? Tell her that. But that's how they think. That's the math. That's girl math. That, oh, there's plenty of them because they think that they all want different ones. And they think that the other way around. They think that, there's a girl who's a 3 and there's going to be a guy that she thinks is a 10 and it's all make-believe. It's make-believe. And I can hear you guys now. Why do they think that? Because they want to. Because doesn't it sound nice? There's someone for everyone. Then you're never going to be alone. Then you don't really have to work for it. It just happens. They believe it because they want to. And then they figure out what they believe first, and then they go and they confirmation bias. They go around and seek out the facts that seem to back it up. You know what I'm saying? And some of those may not be facts, may just be feelings. And so they really believe that it's true. And they're going to be believing it, when they're alone, they're dying alone with the dog. Buy a dog, die alone. Kevin Samuels, Godfather. Right on.
I guess it's a weird take, but I think we're familiar with it. Anyway, as usual, I have fixed the square by turning it into a cube. Cubes are pretty much it.
My name's Amy. This is my best friend, Grace.
They're from Portland. Make of that what you will.
And together, we've created the smart, dumb, sweet, evil matrix. It's going to help you.
It's going to help you become more entitled. Speaking of deserving things, I found this report on Ground News saying almost half of 18 to 27-year-olds still live with their parents, most of them for free. We're in an economic situation that nobody deserves. I'm going to help these girls upgrade their chart, but first, if you want help explaining why you still live at home, it's the cost of living. It's not avocado toast. You should check out this story on Ground News. Click the link in the description or scan here to subscribe and follow along right now. Ground News makes it easy to understand the news. You can just wants to live in expensive cities, but the New York Post says younger Americans are showing discipline and foresight in their saving and spending patterns.
Hold on, sorry, I'm trying to skip
Get
the ad.
from Ground News. It's kind of like what I do. We'll get through to these girls in their deserve chart. Let's see what they have to say.
Okay, so what we've discovered is that every man in the world falls on this matrix.
Not me. I don't fit in any of these. I am nice and I'm smart, but I don't quite fit here. I'll let her explain.
In quadrant 1, we have the sweet, smart matrix. This is the unicorn matrix. You have your husbands, your ones who got away, and your fictional men written by women. These are the ones you want to keep. They're the ones you dream about. They're the ones you deserve, honey.
Deserve, their favorite word, which means absolutely nothing. So again, I am pretty nice. I am pretty smart. I do not belong here. I am nobody's unicorn. I do not have this reputation. I alternately have these reputations. Let's let her continue.
Okay, not quadrant number 2, we got the golden retriever quadrant. We got very sweet, but a little bit dumb. They can fall anywhere in this quadrant, and they're golden retrievers. They have a high EQ, but a low IQ. So they could be a nuclear scientist, but if they're getting you potholders for your...
I'm sorry. Does she think she's on the level of Homath? Is that what's happening here? I don't know when this broad started her channel, TikTok, whatever this is from. But this is embarrassing. Like, stop it right now. It already doesn't make sense. Honestly, unless you're one of those rare women that are really good at math, don't do this. Don't make charts. Stop it. Again, we have a woman trying to compete in a man's space and failing miserably. You might as well be doing breakdancing at the Olympics in an Australian Olympic outfit uniform, because that's what I'm getting here. Golden retriever, high EQ, low IQ, potholders as gifts. None of this has any substance. So far, the second category, it's irritating me. None of it has any substance. Okay, I had to slow down. I had to pause because my brain is glitching.
Your birthday, they are a golden retriever, honey. And finally, the most important quality of a golden retriever is that they are willing to learn. They can be taught, and eventually these golden retrievers can become unicorns, which is why they are part of the Keeper hemisphere.
Okay, important note. When she says dumb here, what she means is not buying her the correct presents. So again, you can be a nuclear scientist in this box, but if you are not serving her needs, then you are dumb and must be fixed.
Okay, I'm so glad he said that, because I don't know if I'm autistic or what, but I took it literally, like high IQ, because I like a smart man. I need to be able to have a conversation. I want him to think, above me. I do. Why would I want to talk to somebody who's, not smarter than I am? That doesn't make any sense to me, especially as a woman. So whatever. But yeah, okay. So yeah, they need to be trained. Newsflash. I think that women think all men need to be trained. Sorry, I gotta catch my throat. I really do. I think they believe that they have to train all of them. I haven't seen adjectives like loyal, hardworking, loving. I don't see anything that describes a man. I just don't. I see things that describe a utility, which is how women treat men. You have a use. Are you useful to me? Even if that means getting me gifts that make me feel good or make me feel valuable. What good is it if you have to train somebody how to give you gifts? Then it's not a gift. A gift is something of yourself. And not everybody loves like that. And I'm not trying to do, the whole love languages, but seriously, not everybody loves that way. And define gift, because birthday, like here's an obligatory something because it's the anniversary of the day that you came out of your mother. That's to me a little ridiculous. But if it's, if it's just the smallest thing where he thought of you, and maybe that's that he goes to work every single day. There are other ways that it's a gift. These women are all this does is tell us who she is. She's not telling us anything about men, categories of them, any of that, because women don't think like that. So trying to force it doesn't work. None of this works. Look at the next category, yuck. Excuse me, this lady's angry. She's angry at the charts that men make at the crazy hot matrix. She's angry at that. So she is like, I'm going to make my own chart. That's what this is. And I'm going to put them in the yuck category.
Quadrant number 3, we have the yuck quadrant. That is the dumb and evil.
Fair enough.
Finally, we have your smart and evil quadrant. This is the trauma quadrant.
I agree with that one too.
In the trauma quadrant, you have your standard narcissist.
Narcissist usually, but not always, means got the better of me.
Your situationships that last longer than 6 months.
That, again, is a good insight. Hanging out in this area for too long is a bad sign.
And finally, your guitar players who hate themselves.
Hey, I don't hate myself anymore. I hate everything else. I hate that I have to explain this.
Notably, I am not allowed to date in the trauma quadrant anymore.
Good for you. Personal growth. Nobody mean is a good rule.
This has never proved us wrong. It is true for every man we have ever known.
Okay, it's true from your perspective. That's how you see all guys. There's something that you're missing from our perspective that might help you on your journey. And also, maybe lay off the deserve word. In my opinion, deserving is at an all-time high, and it's kind of resulting in women ending up in these areas a little more than is necessary. That's when they are encouraged to deserve someone who doesn't agree.
It's also when they divorce their husband that they've been with for decades or just years, and they think, I deserve more than this. I deserve something different. And then they bust up their family over it, when honestly, they probably didn't deserve what they had with their family in the first place, because their minds were always thinking about themselves and what they deserve instead of their children, their husband, and what they can give and what they're grateful for. How about some ladies make some charts that have a compartment for being grateful and for, hey, what can I do that my family will benefit from, my loved ones will benefit from, my future husband, my future children. What can I do? I know you guys are like, that's crazy talk. I know, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't sound that crazy. What should sound crazy is deserve, deserve, deserve. None of us deserves anything. Honestly, the things, human beings are just, we are, one mistake after another mistake after another mistake. And thank God God loves us, because that's just our nature, is mistakes, making mistakes, hurting other people, But if you can't say to yourself, what can I contribute to balance that a little bit? I don't know. These women I know, I'm not shocked. I'm not learning this for the first time. But it does never cease to amaze me. And yeah, the narcissist, oh my God, don't they love to call everybody narcissist? I made a video a couple of years ago about how every single one of their exes are narcissistic abusers. What a coincidence. Yeah, / didn't do what I want. Exactly what he said.
So you say that your model solves dating. First of all, you're only talking about this part of it and assuming that this part of it is all here to your satisfaction, which is a different conversation. Second of all, I think that this model is going in the right direction, but you're probably...
Wait a second. Just a second, Mr. Homath. That's right. They did not address attraction. I think the woman just gave something away. I've been saying this. I've been screaming it into the wind, and I always will. Women are not attracted based on aesthetics. I swear they're not. I know. They'll look at a picture of a guy, they'll see a guy or whatever, and they'll say, oh, he's hot. It's not that. Women are attracted to a character, to a personality. And the thing about that personality or character, and I don't mean like good character, I mean like a character in a story, like an archetype. They want to feel security and they want to feel safety. This is why they're attracted to men in uniform. Always. Because a man in a uniform in their mind looks like he's gonna keep them safe. He's gonna know what's going down. He's gonna be on top of, the situation. He's gonna keep you safe, and he's honorable about it. You can count on him. All of those things. So a man can be in a uniform and his face can be whatever, right? And the women will be attracted to him. That's the truth. And if a man says certain things or does certain things that creates that feeling for her, she's going to be attracted to him. So if she sees a guy and he's got muscles, or she sees him and she can attribute that to him, she's going to say she's attracted to him. The other thing she's going to say she's attracted to him is when she knows other women will say that guy, is somebody that would be in high demand. So it's sort of like an achievement if that guy wants you, but they're not keeping in mind that, a promiscuous man will do a 3, so you have to keep that in mind. They don't. But yeah, she left attraction off of it entirely. And that just proves it's not that high of a thing. If it were, it would be in her stupid chart.
Probably putting some men in one of these categories preemptively because you are ignoring a hidden third dimension. So to help you solve dating, I've created the investment cube. It's a little rough, but you get the idea. I changed your axes a little bit. Instead of nice and mean, I think you wrote sweet and evil, I put willingness to invest and give you what you want in a relationship. And instead of dumb and smart, I put experienced. That's knowing what to do in relationships and how to do it. And then finally, the aspect you left out was able. How able is he? If he's willing and experienced, but maybe not able at
I
the moment, but that could change in the future, that's something that you maybe should consider.
She's just assuming in her little chart we're only talking about the ones that are able, right? They wouldn't. Why would we consider anybody who's not? She doesn't want no scrubs.
You gave an example of a guy in the fix category who gets you pot holders because he's inexperienced and doesn't know what you want. But what about a guy who is getting you pot holders because he just isn't quite able yet in this yellow box over here to get you what he already knows you want? What if there are guys out there who are very willing and very experienced, but just not able enough for you at the moment, which, may or may not change in the future? This is something
Those men are invisible.
that actually happened to me recently. I met someone who assumed I was in the dark green here, and as time went on, I had to just say, whoa, that's gonna take a few years. That's kind of a huh. And then she feels like this now. There is a saying out there that women do not struggle with men. They wait at the finish line and choose the winner so they can get the benefits. And that might be a self-defeating strategy, at least in today's dating environment. It used to work better in the past when we had more structure in society, and men in general, even middle value men, could accumulate enough to buy a house and provide stability for a woman on his value level. But times are different now. These guys are not really buying houses exactly. So the more that you tell all women that they deserve someone who can provide them everything they want, the fact that those guys are fewer and fewer in number is going to mean that they have a lot of women clustering around them, which is going to make them a lot less willing to pick one and provide for her. You'll notice that I colored all of the unwilling boxes red. You should be getting away from guys who are not willing. Those
There was a reason why it wasn't that long ago. I swear I heard it when I was growing up. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? And women used to shame other women for giving away the milk. Because if these loose women are giving away the milk, then those men have no reason to marry. Guess what? That's exactly what he's saying. It's just going to make a bunch of men unwilling. Because why should they? They've got, they've got all these women. And this is not the majority of men. It's not the majority of what men want. Most men are quite happy with one woman, and that's good, and we're good. But there's enough of them that are going to enjoy all the female attention and all the, hanky-panky, and never ever feel like, oh, I really should, get married. And even if they do, if they get married out of that because they feel pressured, they're probably going to have extracurricular activities, while they're married. It doesn't sound like they have the character and spiritual background to not participate in those things. And if the woman picks the guy who's that kind of a dude, thinking, oh, I've got him, it's a whole different thing. So again, they're not, even if they settle down, they're not going to settle down because they have no reason to. At the end of the day, the women need to stop giving it up because it brings all of society down.
Those guys who have a lot of access to women, they tend to get a bunch of temporary ones rather than a permanent one and lead them on for a few years by saying things like this. So let's solve dating even more by going over the investment cube. Here it is. Your sweet evil matrix, pictured here, breaks down men into sweet versus evil and dumb versus smart, and then claims that all men are to be found on this grid and that all women deserve a guy who is nice and smart, or at least the opportunity to fix one who is nice and dumb, putting him in the deserve category. Now, this is an insufficient picture, and that's because as time goes on, there are more and more men who are willing to put in the work, which you call sweet, and who know how to put in the work, which you call smart, but simply are not able to put in an adequate amount of work for you. It's the economy. So, as standards of living decrease, this was 2011, God knows where this is by now, but your standards do not decrease. There's just going to be fewer and fewer men over time who can provide what women deserve.
Right.
So, your advice to women to solve dating for them was to just simply pick this guy, the guy who is willing to invest in you and knows how to do it and is able to do it.
Exactly. Just simply pick that guy. Lady, there aren't that many of that guy. And also, what do you have that he wants? You know, anything? And is it forever, or is this just for some, a little bit of hanky panky? Get real. Her chart is completely void of reality. It's so simple. It is like a little kid made it compared to what home math has done here. Like okay, this is going to be controversial. Ladies, if you're trying to make the case that women are just as smart as men and just as capable as men of critical thinking and analysis, don't put your little four quadrant chart to say you've solved dating. Just, you're making my case for me. Women are wonderful at what it is we're supposed to do. And this type of thinking, and what I mean is analysis, charts, that sort of a thing, generally, that is not where we excel, especially when it's clearly a revenge chart. All it is, your charts mean I'm going to make a chart about you. That's all it is. So if you women want to make a case that you're not just a bunch of 6-year-olds or middle schoolers, if it's a compliment, then stop doing that. Stop acting like it. Sometimes I think, oh my gosh, I'm way too harsh. I'm way too critical. Do I have issues where I'm angry at my mom? I think these things. And I'm like, well, there were some things growing up, but I love my mom. So then I go, and then I see this, and I'm like, no. These women they have the nerve to try to, go into male spaces and compete and insult. And then they get angry if you say, well, why do you act like children? Like, what am I supposed to say? Wow, that was brilliant and insightful. I learned so much. No. It's sad. It's like a parody. It's like, are we doing the Babylon Bee, a take on a parody of an unfunny parody of home math? Just bizarre that she would put that. Again, I said it in last night's video. Aren't you embarrassed? No.
But in reality, there are not enough of those guys to go around.
Right.
Those guys are so small in number that they're going to have a lot of options to pick from, and that's going to make them unwilling to pick one. You can't all be at the front of the line. So if a guy is willing and experienced, that would be your sweet and smart, but not able to give you the type of investment that you're looking for, that would be the struggle box. I put that in yellow back here. Women do not really like being in the struggle box. They don't want to win the race with us. They want us to win first and then share. Finally, back here we have the project box in orange, and that would be a guy who is willing to take care of you properly, but neither is he able, at the moment at least, nor does he know what he's doing. And that is a project. Okay, I wish I had exact percentages here. I'm just estimating to make a point. Some percentage of men are going to be unwilling to invest in a relationship, and the more options they have, the more unwilling they're going to be. Some percentage of men are going to be ready, willing, and able. If you can lock one down, good for you. Some percentage of men are going to be able and willing, but not ready and don't understand. And if you want one of the fixers, then good for you also. But in my estimation, the struggler section of society is going to be larger and growing, and the project section is probably going to take up, I don't know if this is more than half already or what. I wish I had numbers. But my point here is that you told all women to pick this guy. You said they deserve it. You basically just took this green color right here and you just said that's all of you are in the deserving category of just a few. You can see how mathematically that might not work out.
I feel sorry for Homath. He's like, but there aren't enough. What are you even saying? And that's what I said at the beginning. They don't realize they think there are enough. They think there's one of those. They don't believe in the, I know, they don't believe in the 1 through 10 thing. Have you guys ever watched the whatever podcast or anything like that where they go around and they say rate yourself and every woman's like, I'm a 10, I'm a 10, I'm a 10. Because they reject that whole rating thing as if it's something that you can just opt out of. No, sorry, there are measurements in life. Some things are bigger than other things. It's all relative. Some women are prettier than other women. Some women are heavier than other women. It's just the way it is. And some facial features are more desired. Some hair colors are more desired. And there are things about men that are more desired. Women like tall men. That's just a fact. They do. Women like men who are financially secure. Women like men with a strong jaw. Women like men, that don't have a gigantic nose. Like there are certain things, right? Women like men who behave in a confident way. All kinds of things. The thing that women don't understand is that attraction, you guys all agree. And they think they don't because of little tiny analogies like, oh, but I was dating this one guy once and I thought he was a 10 and my friend thought, oh, he's ugly. Well, one of you is lying or one of you is an exception because no, it isn't the way it works. But the reason she does not understand the fatal flaw in her graph is because she's not taking into account the fact that there is a finite number of these ultra desirable men, just like there's a finite number of the ultra pretty women. They all think they're 10s. They really do. They think, it hurts me to say things that I know you guys are going to be like, what? They think that there is a 10, they think they are a 10, and they will find the person they think is a 10. And they think that's true for everybody. I swear. I know. It's like, what? How? Because they want to. Because it's a nice story. Because rather than the way fairy tales used to end, where it's like, oh, well, that happened and that person, got, it changed to happily ever after. Well, guess what? That's not real. And their parents did them a disservice telling them life is fair, you get what you deserve, you get what you want, you deserve the world, you deserve the best, etc., etc. And no, you don't.
Now, I am not telling you that you have to settle for someone who doesn't have enough of what you want. You don't have to. I'm just saying that some of you are going to have to choose between either one of these back row guys or pursuing someone who could be here but is unwilling, or maybe like a Jack Russell. They're pretty cute. So, in order to clarify what women should be deserving in order to maximize people finding an appropriate match, let's break down income by category.
Okay, hold on before he gets into that. 2 words you need to be really careful about and that are giant red flags. The word deserve and the word settle. If a woman thinks she deserves something, deserve, run fast. Run fast and far. And if she thinks she's settling, run fast and far. Because if a woman believes she is settling for something in any way, she is not going to respect that man. She's not going to appreciate that man. And if she thinks she's settling, that hypergamy, that's going to light a fire of hypergamy in her when she thinks she's settling, and she's going to be on the lookout. That's going to be like a temporary thing. Because as soon as she thinks, oh, I didn't have to settle, she's gone. So if you have a woman and she's not grateful to be with you and very appreciative of you, that's a ticking time bomb of her leaving. And not just leaving, but leaving, destruction in her wake, as is often the case.
Now, first of all, the median income for the male population of the United States is about $46,000, and that is going up, but not as fast as rent and groceries. I also want to mention I made about this much money in 2014, and it did not go very far. Here's a quick breakdown of income brackets in the United States. I have stacked those up for you. Now, as you can see, there's a good percentage, 37.5, of people in the United States who make over 100K, but as you can also see, they're going to be overwhelmingly old, probably not in the age range you're looking for. Guys more your age are going to be concentrated in these lower levels. So let's go by age here. Average salary for 20 to 24 is $38,012 per year, which is, I could not imagine. I think that's rent in Manhattan. Average salary for 25 to 34 is $54,080 per year. Average for 35 to 44, which I'm imagining is beyond the upper limits of your dating range after this ad here, is $65,676 per year. Now, I made more than this in 2018, and it did not go far. To be fair, it does say that men earn more at $14.01 per week, which would be $72,852, but that does include 44-year-old men. So, in other words, more guys than you think are going to be at the lower end of the able to invest axis in these unattractive, dingy colored struggle in project boxes. So, when you encourage women to deserve even harder than they already are, you're telling them to focus on these front boxes full of men who are able to provide, which looks like this. They begin to cluster around the men who have the ability to do that, which makes those men fall from the willing category to the unwilling category because they have an abundance of options. That's why, even though your boxes are not wrong and you're smart to stay out of this one, encouraging women to deserve is going to make them look for guys who are already able, who have.
Yeah, it makes them old and alone because they're constantly like, I deserve, I deserve, I deserve. And those men are like, you're not a keeper, you're not a keeper, you're not on my level. And you know what? Eventually, it's a game of musical chairs, and eventually you're out. And guess what? It's over. It is over. There are not an unlimited amount of these men. There just aren't. And I'm also thinking, as he's talking, I predict women are going to start dating older. As crazy as women can seem, and as irrational as they seem, in some ways, women are incredibly practical. And when they start realizing that this whole work thing does not fulfill you, and that's a lie of feminism, they're going to start thinking, maybe I'd like to settle down. I think they're going to start looking at the older men because things are going to have to shift, right? There are only a finite number of these men in the age group, especially in the age groups. They're going to start looking older. They're going to start, I think so. And at the end of the day, that's how it used to be. Women who were fertile married men who were secure. So, is a 25-year-old guy in today's society, is he secure? Is he secure to, provide for a family? No. Who is? More like a 40-year-old or a 45-year-old. And you will say, well, yeah, but then they say, oh, that's gross. Da, 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 da. Well, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think they're about to get over that real quick. Because trust me, remember the whole craze of George Clooney? Oh, he's so handsome. And the whole idea of a silver fox. Yeah. Older men are attractive. And I thought that when I was younger. So this whole, ew, like, that's made up. That's been trained into them. Mm-mm.
Already made it, which is going to clog the market. Some of you, most of you, should probably be looking for a guy who is willing, a guy who wants to become more able because of your presence in his life is a pretty good sign. That's a guy who wants to move from here to here or from here to here, and then you can do the rest of the work. So more deserving is not going to solve dating. If anything, it's going to clog up these two cubes and drop them down to here, which is what you don't want. But what might help solve dating is if maybe a few more of you were willing to run the race with us rather than waiting at the finish line and picking the winner.
Wow. That was abrupt. I'm trying to pause it. It's going into my next. What video is this? Oh. Like, what are you doing? Oh, maybe it is paused. Sorry. There's Douglas Murray about to talk to Jordan Peterson about what's going on in the West. It's funny when my YouTube stuff comes up. I'm like, oh, hey. Oh, boy. Well, he does it again. I'm going to start calling him Professor Homath because that was needed. I've got to find that woman's channel or whatever because I'm like, when did she upload that? Is this just a response to Homath? Because it's embarrassing, lady. You didn't solve anything. You revealed some of the things you don't want to reveal about women. Selfishness, demands. You don't get to make those demands. Who told women that they get to make those demands? At the end of the day, somebody is teaching these girls and these women and telling them, you deserve, you deserve, you deserve. I think a lot of times it's the dads, telling their little girl, oh, you deserve this and you deserve that. That's not helpful. It's not helpful. Then you just, anything less is now a failure. You've fallen short. And then they won't. And then if they do take anything less than this thing that they deserve, then they're settling and they're never going to be happy. The key to happiness is being grateful. And how are you grateful when you're constantly like, oh, I'm settling? Because when you settle, isn't that a disappointment? If you think you're settling for this man, then that man is now a disappointment to you. When in reality, you probably don't even deserve him. Wow, that lady, she's got a lot of nerve, but at least she made a giant fool of herself doing that. Making that chart or whatever. I don't even know if I can call it a chart. It was like 4 boxes. She might as well have been like, I'm going to play MASH. Remember MASH? You like count and you do the circles. Like, oh, you're going to live in a mansion. And it's like, you might as well do that. It's based in about the same amount of reality. I don't know what these women are doing. They're going to keep deserving themselves all the way into, loneliness and bitterness, resentment. What is the point? Is it just to be right? A man is not something you deserve. He's a person and he has a say too. Isn't it weird and borderline sociopathic that they can't envisage it from the man's point of view? That the man might want certain things, that you're just automatically going to be, the answer to all of his prayers. How full of yourself are you? Some of these women are just going down. But they're just going down saying, I'm right, but I deserve. No, you don't. Oh, start being grateful for what you have. Start being grateful. Start thinking about what you can give as a woman, not as a mediocre man. Anyways, thank you guys. I always enjoy watching home maths videos with you. Hopefully, I added something to it. And I hope you enjoyed it too. I hope that you are having a wonderful Saturday. I hope that you are feeding your soul. It's so important. And I hope that you're protecting your peace. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.